Begin our meeting with Falls Township Board of Supervisors at 7:32, it looks like. We'll begin with the salute to the flag, please.
This is the Falls Township Governmental Access Channel 22 on Comcast and Channel 40 on Verizon. You're about to view the Falls Township Board of Supervisor meeting for September 7th, 2010. This program was pre-recorded earlier for playback at this
Okay, thank you.
time.
Mrs. Pullen, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Zepka?
Here.
Mrs. Slosky?
Here.
Here.
Mr. Finn?
Here.
Mr. Snipes?
Here.
All right, we have a very simple, straightforward agenda this evening, so we're going to get right to it. The first item of the agenda is a certificate of appropriateness for 77 Old Locust Avenue. This is for the construction of a detached garage. Mr. Gray, you want to add anything to this?
Yes, as mentioned, this is for 77 Old Locust Road in Fallsington. This is an addition of a 12 by 20 detached garage. This was approved by the HARB Board at its meeting on August 23rd. This time the board is asked to, and actually the name of the applicant, I'm sorry, is Michael Beitler from Old Locust Road. At this time, the board is asked to consider this certificate of appropriateness.
Okay, and board members also have, in addition to the packet you got over the weekend, there's also a map that I asked Mr. Bennett to run off some copies of. I was a little fuzzy on the details of the plan, and so you have maps in front of you here for that if you need it. I think Mr. Beitler is here. Yes, okay, so if anybody has any questions for him, you can ask that. Maybe Mr. Beitler, if you don't mind, just coming up to the microphone. Letting us know this is it going to act as a shed or a detached garage, or what's it going to be?
Basically a shed, but it's considered a detached garage because of the size.
Okay. And it's 16 by 20, is that right?
12 by 20.
12, I'm sorry. Oh, it's 16 feet high. That's what it is.
Yes.
I think. Okay, that's where I got the 16 from. All right, so 12 by 20. And it's going to match the existing house in terms of siding and everything
Yes.
else? Okay. All right. Comments or questions from board members? Mr. Zupka?
No, I have none.
Mrs. Vizlowski?
I happen to know the Beitlers. I've known you since 1952, and you probably weren't even around then. But I can tell you the place has always been well kept, and I support this.
Okay. Mr. Snipes?
No, it looks like a great addition to the property. It looks like it will be barely visible from the road, maybe somewhat visible.
Yeah, you might catch a glimpse of the peak.
All right.
No, that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Dents?
No questions.
I don't have any either. Any comments or questions from any of the public? I don't imagine there'll be any. Okay. All right, then, is there a motion to grant the certificate of appropriateness to 77 Old Locust Avenue for a detached garage?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Zupka, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks.
Do I get a copy of the certificate to bring over to the township or anything like that?
Mr. Gray, how's it work?
Yeah, we'll have that for you. Call us back in the morning. We'll have that ready for you.
Oh, okay, so
right.
just contact Tommy, I guess?
Yeah, Tom Bennett.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, second item on our agenda is a presentation by Goal, the Greenbelt Overhaul Alliance of Levittown. Mr. Dale Frazier is representing, along with his daughter, who I think was here Caitlin, in the spring maybe, or last year. I forget when you guys were here. I know you were here before. Yeah, and we did make a contribution to your organization as you went around to the different areas of Levittown, not just in Falls, to do what you could to clear out some of the debris and litter and everything else, and obviously make the whole area better. So we appreciate your efforts in that respect, and I think you want to just kind of give us an update.
Yeah, we'll give you an update, let you know a
And
little bit about what we were able to do.
Just to remind you, make sure you use the microphone. So, sorry. It's okay. You can take it with you. We need to get you on tape, too. So you can just take
Okay.
it with you when you go around.
Yes, we wanted to stop by and let you know what we were able to accomplish last year throughout Levittown, as well as the things we got done in Falls Township. For a second, we'll be there.
It's okay.
Just hit the slideshow button there, yeah.
While you're searching, I'd like to say that Ed Armstrong from Tullytown recruited me almost the first day he met you, and I have been in favor of this all along. Congratulations on what you've done for the community.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think you're You want to close out that smaller box to the right, the one that view, right down a little lower?
I'm new to this stuff.
Hold on, it's not working.
I think you're in like a preview.
Oh, the Greenbelt Overhaul Alliance of Levittown, we're an alliance of different organizations, community groups, nature centers, and general public. And we're pretty much supported by grants we get from, we received an $8,100 grant last year from Tree Vitalize to plant riparian buffer in Holly Hill, on Holly Hill Drive. I guess we're ready to go now.
Yeah.
Here you go, honey, do something.
What are our goals? Clean greenways and waterways of debris to eliminate waterways disturbances.
Use the microphone,
Sorry,
please.
Caitlin, you got to speak up a little bit.
Remove undesirable plant species, install desirable plant species, maintain our greenways and waterways, educate and participate the public.
Some of the things we've done to participate the public in the different things is we have seminars at the Levittown Library on New Falls Road. Usually the last Tuesday of the month, we've had Stroud Water Research Center in there for healthy water quality. Bucks County Conservation District's been in talking about the riparian buffer enhancement, which is mainly putting more plants, trees, shrubs of native species alongside of our waterways to help clean out the water and absorb some of the excess rainwater runoff. Other things is we've partnered up now with the Pennsbury School District. We're working with them towards a little greener curriculum for some of the different subjects. Not actually a new subject in addition to everything else they're teaching, but to just try to green up a little bit more what they're accomplishing and work with their eco clubs at the high school level. And we've also done some things at the elementary school level.
Okay. Our volunteers come in all ages, sizes, shapes, and genders. And here's two of our volunteers from one of our first cleanups at John Fitch Elementary School. And another helper. Some more.
It's one of our youngest volunteers that ever showed up to help us out.
This is a drainage ditch in Birch Valley that's a car battery.
This was before our cleanup in Birch Valley. Mr. Harvey, you were there and helped out with that one a little bit. And some of these other slides are from the same area. This was down closer to Levittown Parkway on that strip by Magnolia Hill. One of the drainage ditches, you can see it's all plugged up with different debris. A lot of times people don't realize that they're causing harm when they take grass clippings, tree branches. Yeah, it's biodegradable, but if you throw it in the creek, it clogs up the different drainage areas and holds back silt, other runoff, and you end up getting areas pretty well blocked up like this. This is on Bald Cypress Lane, right near where we did that cleanup at, right near the pumping station. This is one of the culverts. This is actually an outflow from the street into the creek, and it's just not moving because it was so backed up in there. More the same from that first one. This is over in Thornridge. We did a May 22nd of this year. We did a cleanup over there and cleaned out some debris and cleared that stretch up a little bit. Yes, this is the dumpster we filled up on May 22nd over there with the help of a lot of kids from Manor Elementary School and some of our volunteers and some people that lived right in the community came out and helped us out a bit too. That's just another view of the same dumpster. We got our sticker up on there. It looks good, don't it? This is after we cleaned up that ditch over in Thornridge behind Manor Elementary. We're looking to do some other events with them. I've had a meeting with the principal on Thursday. We're going to see if we can try to enhance some different things around the school, maybe put some native plants in, maybe even look towards a possibility of putting in like a vegetable garden for the kids to tend and take care of, and some other items that we're working on. This is the crowd that came out that day. And this is the new section. We'd like to do this October 3rd. This is the drainage ditch in North Park. We were here for a meeting recently for the flooding issues in the area and the insurance with FEMA and all that.
May I ask what street in North Park is closest to that?
I've got a map coming up.
Good, because I was talking to a man about 2 months ago about it, and he was, complaining because Falls Township hasn't done anything, and I had Joey Arneo go out and take a look, and he said, Judge, that's like impossible unless there's an overall effort. and you're the answer to it. If I was younger, I'd be out
I
there.
hope we are the answer to it. We're going to do what we can. This is another picture of the same area that we're going to be working on. And here's another. You can see the turtle in the middle of that mess there. This is the dumpsters we filled during our cleanups. And we've not just been in Falls Township with what, 2 days worth. We have another one coming up for Falls Township. But we've done a few in Bristol Township and also down by the Levittown train station in Tullytown, which is what the center dumpster up there is. That was a 40 cubic yard dumpster we filled there. The one at the top right's the one we did Birch Valley last year. We didn't quite get that one filled, and we ran out of time. This is the cleanup completed October 3rd of last year. Actually, we would have filled that dumpster, but we didn't have enough volunteers to do this section out to Levittown Parkway. We were able to get the rest of this done. Back in here, but the backside of Everturn Lane was real bad. We had some scouts that came out, and a lot of volunteers helped us out with that. This is where we completed May 22nd behind Manor Elementary School in Falls Township. This is the schedule, the map you're asking for, where it's near. This is the area from Falls Tullytown Road to New School over to Neptune and then across North Park Drive right near North Court Lane. That's where the picture of that frog was you just seen was taken from the overpass right there. Turtle, rather. I'm sorry, turtle. This is the total tributaries we've cleaned from October 3rd of last year to what we have done October 3rd of this year in Falls Township. It's not showing all the other ones. Up underneath of this sign up there is the other little section near the Manor Elementary School, and down on the other side in the left-hand corner there, Levittown Parkway, the other side of that is where we've taken out over 100 cubic yards so far from the Parkway on Black Ditch Creek to Oak Tree. And we have a scheduled cleanup for this fall where we're going to continue that right on through behind Dogwood as well. This is part of a tributary to Black Ditch Creek that goes into Silver Lake Nature Center, so it benefits them as well, and they're partnering up with us a little bit stronger. We're in the talks to get that accomplished right now. What you do?
The benefits of a neighborhood cleanup: better water quality, erosion control, aesthetics, property values, decreased vandalism, community pride, healthier environment, and more. These are our upcoming events. From September 18th to 19th, the Black Ditch Phase 3 tree planting.
This was part of the the grant that we received from Tree Vitalize through the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. We've planted half of the total 2,000 linear foot that we were planning on planting. We've got about 205 roughly trees and shrubs left to plant there for that weekend. We have the holes are pre-dug for us by some different landscapers that work with us, and then we just get the people out there and put the different native trees in. We continue then?
October 2nd is the Silver Lake Nature Center Green Fest from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're going to have our booth set up there for new volunteers to come and learn about goal. On October 3rd, North Park cleanup, Tullytown-Fallsington Road to North Turn Lane. October 9th, Citizen Watershed Monitor Training by Stroud Water Research from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
What this is about is Silver Lake Nature Center is in the process right now of getting a grant for this. PA Cleanways is also looking to promote this. A lot of other larger agencies are looking to promote this. It's watershed monitoring, getting people together to live in the community to go out and do some different water testing of the areas in their section. I'm trying to get together is like section captains for all the different sections of Levittown that would be in charge of the volunteers for their community and for doing the water testing. And they would be like the link to me to be able to get this information out to the different people. It's one of the things we're in the process of trying to get together right now.
And on October 16th and 17th, Martins Creek in Tullytown, we're going to be having an invasive removal native planting. And then October 30th, vote for a cleanup location and contact us at dfrazierdeltowngoal.com.
We left this spot open. Last year we had a thing where one of the ones we had scheduled in one of the sections we weren't able to do, and we got it changed over, and that's how we did the May 22nd in Thornridge. So what we're going to do is just have people to go there and put in for the section you'd like to see get accomplished next. about 2 weeks prior to the event, we'll announce which section we're going to be doing, and I'll just have everything all lined up, ready to go for it.
I applaud you
thank you.
wholeheartedly. I know you're not finished, but I think what you're doing is so wonderful, so
thank you.
needed.
Thank you. On November 4th, goal day per Bucks County Commissioners. Last year, they made that day ours.
Yeah, last year the county commissioners met and they had me come in for a meeting, and I thought I was going to come up to do a presentation for them, and here they presented me with a proclamation announcing November 4th as Gold Day in Bucks County. I'm in contact with them to see if they're willing to throw another check at us like they did last year when they gave me the proclamation.
How are you fixed for money?
It's tight, right? It's tight right now. We with all the different cleanups coming up. We just got brochures made up today. I have a bunch of them here. I was going to give you each one. They're hot off the press kind of thing. And between that and a few other items we have to set up for the cleanups, we're pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel, and we still have to get together an outhouse for every event and a lot of other stuff.
Has Falls Township given you any money yet?
Oh, yes. Last year when we were here, I was going to say when we got to that part of it that I was very appreciative of the $2,000 that Falls Township donated towards us last year.
I tried to get a donation, and I was told by members of this board that you weren't authentic because you didn't have a charter or whatever was necessary, and I knew you would get it, you know, but
We've been a nonprofit organization that had that status since before we were here last time.
Well,
And we've got a lot more things going on now besides that.
if you recall the date, you appeared before Armstrong and the Tullytown Council. That was how quickly I, adopted that idea. I love you for what you're doing. It's so needed in this community. Those drainage ditches are just so neglected,
It's
and they're
a good way to get
presenting.
the community to come out and work together as a unit, too. It builds community pride, and if you have pride in your community, you have less vandalism, less of other problems.
Well, at 80 years old, I can't do as much as I used to, but I can recruit people. So I'd like to have a copy of that schedule if you, very good.
Okay, and if you want, you can come out and sign up people at the desk for us, and we will find something for you to do.
Can help
My
sign.
doctor will keep me out of the hospital long enough.
All right, and then on November 13th and 14th, Black Ditch cleanup from Oak Tree to Dogwood.
That's the big one I'd mentioned earlier. Want to hand them out? Our current supporters and sponsors, our list has grown a bit since we were here last time. This is our current ones. Some of the ones from last year had dropped out as we got new ones in. We had to put this in alphabetical order just so people could find where they are on here. You can notice on the bottom center there, the Pennsbury Partners Program. They've been working with us. PennDOT takes care of us for trash bags, gloves, safety equipment, safety vests, and all that fun stuff. Stroudwater Research Center, they've done 2 of our library seminars, and they're going to be at October 9th out there in the Neshaminy Creek for that event out there for the healthy water chemistry and macroinvertebrates. And these are Act 48 accredited for the teachers in the community to come get some accreditation for learning more about how to do these fun things. Some of the landscaping tree service places have been helping us out a lot. Page Printing gives us a good deal on our whatever we need to get it copied from him. North Creek Nurseries just donated 1,000 native plant plugs to us, all native species, so we can put in on the creeks and the different areas. Tullytown donated $5,000 this year to what we're doing. Rotary Club gave us $500. Grundy Foundation have given us $2,000 towards trying to set up our community leaders in the different sections to be able to monitor the volunteers in those areas. Weeds Inc. comes out and sprays things for us. All these people have been helping us out in one way or another. They either supply us. We have really nice lunches after our events, and it's all donated by different businesses in the community. Waste Management, of course, gives us our dumpsters and hauls them away. They've been pretty punctual with that.
Just that, and you can read that.
Last word in ignorance is a man who says of an animal or plant, what good is it? If the land mechanism as a whole is good, then every part is good, whether we understand it or not. If the biota in the course of eons has built something we like but do not understand, then who but a fool would discard seemingly useless parts to keep every cog and wheel as the first precaution to intelligent tinkering? It just kind of sums it all up for me. You know, if there's something out there in like a different plant or whatever, and we don't understand what it is, we throw it away. That's like taking a watch and you taking a certain cog out of it and you throw that one away because you don't understand what it is. It's not going to work the right way. We've got to take care of the environment. It'll take care of us. If we give it a chance to survive and thrive, it'll take care of us as well. Anybody got any questions about anything?
Comments or questions from board members? I think all of us obviously echo Mrs. Vislowski's comments. You know, we deeply appreciate the work you've done, and obviously I'm sure the other townships do too. You're not just working in Falls. And I was happy to get out and help the one day, it was back in May maybe, that I could get out there. I don't know if any other comments or questions, board members. Mr. Zipka?
None.
Mrs. Vislowski?
I'd like to give you some money tonight. And we can do that. We can go up to $10,000, $9,999, without having to go out to bid or anything like that.
And 99 cents?
99 cents. I will make a motion to that effect. Any seconds?
I'll second it.
All right, so your motion is for $9,999 donation?
99 cents.
There's no restriction.
It got amended by
It's
the
a donation.
public.
You're not going out to bid. So
Right.
if you want to make it an even $10,000, you can.
Yeah.
I like the number, 9,999.
And 99 cents.
What, Mr. Frazier, in terms of, I guess, normally when we give money to different organizations, Fallsington Day and the veterans who do the flag ceremony, we do ask them, I know that obviously you didn't come here necessarily expecting this, but we do ask them just to give us an idea of expenses and things like that. In terms of the amount of money that you spend in a given year, the projects that you do, do you have a ballpark of how much you've kind of spent, or just you've had to spend just to do what you need to do?
My secretary and accountant would have to answer that question.
I can get you something,
Okay. All right. All right. Because obviously, everyone's going to take as much money as they can
This
get.
is the lovely wife, Kathy, over here.
You know, my
Mrs.
feeling is that you need that much money anyhow. And we've been remiss. We got on the bandwagon just a bit too late. You would have had a better jump start. And I saw the most beautiful program today about volunteers who built a house for a man who had not been able to leave his home by his front door for 30 years.
Wow.
And he got to enjoy the fruits of that labor because there were hundreds of volunteers, professionals who came out, and by the end of the program, I was crying. I was so touched by what they had done. And the man lived 2 years of bliss because of those unselfish volunteers. So I am for anything you do.
It's part of the gift community. I've heard that terminology lately, where people get out and they do stuff like that. They're doing good for somebody else, they're doing good for their community, or it makes them feel good at the same time.
And thank you.
This was in Florida, near Jacksonville, but it was a touching program.
I'll bet.
Right. Other comments or questions? Mr. Snipes?
Yes, a couple things. Anyone wanting to volunteer on November 13th, who should they contact? Just at is there a contact us on your website, or how would we do that?
Yes, if you want to volunteer, you can just show up. We asked if anybody wants to come to the event on October 9th for Stroud. Well, I need the registration ahead of time on that to make sure I have enough equipment, enough books for everybody. It will be a learning class. We'll be getting out in the creek, kicking up macroinvertebrates, doing some water quality testing, and learning how to do that, and setting up different groups to be able to go out and monitor their stream intersections. But the rest of the stuff, anybody's welcome to show up the day of the event. The more people that let me know ahead of time,
Right.
the easier it is to set up things.
So how would we let you know? Just through the website, or is there
Yes, if you go to the
contacts
website, you
on
can
it?
actually,
Okay.
if there's a spot where there's a link where you can contact me, and from the website, it'll take you directly to my email.
Okay, thank you. It's wonderful that you're doing, and you'll let us know where we should gather in November on the 13th as well.
Yes, if you go to the website, you'll notice that there's, after each event that's listed in there, it'll have a little spot that you can click on that says more. It'll give you more information, exactly where the location is, the date, the time, all the different particulars, and a little bit more information about what maybe to wear that day.
Right.
We supply the gloves. We also supply, I've been to a lot of cleanups, and as far as I know, we're the only ones that's doing this. We also supply the plastic gloves to put inside the other gloves. Because you're picking up something nasty out of the creek and it soaks right through them other gloves, you might as well not have them on almost.
Yeah.
And we also supply the outhouse and the water all day long to be able to have people drink. And we're requesting now, instead of just supplying water bottles, we're requesting people to bring a recycled bottle, and we'll bring the filtered water to refill it with. And then we supply a nice lunch afterwards as well.
I like the idea that you're not just pulling out junk and, emptying the ditches, but that you're actually taking an eye to planting native species and pulling out invasive species and trying to make the most of what are, relatively small green areas within the community, but can, promote some degree of health of the natural environment, and also an eye to planting native species is going to help too. One question I had was, if you plant this fall, are you afraid of the drought conditions that we're in right now?
The planting we did on Holly Drive that we started Arbor Day weekend, we've had 9 acts of vandalism on there. We go out there every 2 to 3 days, a couple of us, and we spend about 4 hours each time watering our plants and making sure that they're covered. I've noticed some other areas where people get like tree vitalized trees, and they put them in, they put the gator bags on, but the gator bags don't fill themselves.
Right.
They need somebody to go out and maintain them, or it's not going to do any good. So we've been going out and monitoring everything that's going on. We're constantly fixing any vandalism that some of the local kids seem to have fun doing. But with the first act of vandalism, we had 60 trees run over by a car. And then they turned around and ran them over again. And we were out there. A couple of phone calls. We had 6 volunteers out there and spent about 5.5 hours, and we saved all but 3 of them.
Wow, wonderful. Have you lost any at all to the drought?
We've lost maybe 2 or 3 to the drought.
2 or 3, that's
And
great.
if you ever go by on Holly Drive right now, you'll notice sunflowers out there about this tall, all over the place. We had put in 40 different species of native plants. It's just the sunflowers are the most predominant of the bunch. You walk through there, though, and you'll find out all sorts of different plants that are in there. If you go to our website and click on the wildflowers under photos, you'll see some of the different ones. We had a photographer out there, and he took some nice shots for us.
Well, you guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you so much. The organization is when did you begin not your incorporation, but when did you begin the whole idea?
Started the whole thing April of '09.
Okay, so it's really...
I was out walking with my dog and finding too much trash to pick up by myself. And then going home and trying to find a way to get other people involved in doing what I was trying to do on my own. And we started out with the one cleanup down there between where we live in Farmbrook, between there and Stony Brook. And it just kept on snowballing from there. I went and took a class out in Westchester for tree tenders, and there was people from all over the state were at this class out there at Westchester University, and I was the only one there from Bucks County. This year it's being held in Newtown. It's coming up in a few weeks. There's 2 classes in September, 1 in October. And there's a link on our website to get to that if anybody's interested in going. Right now we have roughly about 10 people going from Goal to this event. And it's a free class offered by Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. It talks about installing the trees, maintaining your trees, the benefits of all that fun stuff. If you get a chance, look on our website. There's a lot of great things on there, a lot of links to different organizations. There's a National Tree Benefit Calculator on there, which you go to and you put in the species of your tree and the diameter of it. It'll tell you how much oxygen it puts out a year, how much carbon it sequesters into it, and how much groundwater it can absorb.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it would be great for our township in general. You're doing this through a volunteer effort. The township has also been planting trees through our municipal effort. It would be great to get a total overall count. I don't know how we'd estimate how, people in their yard, how many other trees are being planted, but that would at least give us an idea, and you can also run those numbers on carbon sequestering as well, which would be great information.
Yeah, I did it on my yard at home. I took all the trees and put them in there. I was amazed. There's like over 100,000 gallons of water a year my trees can suck out of the ground. No wonder my grass is so dry.
Mr. Chairman, just one last comment. With the Vietnam Veterans Organization, with the Flag Memorial, and also with Historic Fallsington, I know we've been giving $6,000 a year, so we might want to keep that in mind as we decide how much to give to goals, so that we are being fair with the different organizations that come and request of us.
Okay.
Question. Did we give anything to goal last year?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
How much?
$2,000.
We'll keep that in mind, too. I still think 9,999 is a good number.
What was the name of your website?
It's ltowngold.com.
I didn't see it.
Did you give me that brochure, Hen? Yeah, it's right on the back of there at the bottom.
Okay. No, I didn't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for the presentation. I appreciate that, obviously the effort for this and obviously the other effort you put in. We do have a motion on the floor to donate $9,999.99 to Goal, from the township. Is there any public comment needed? See no hands for public comment. Mrs. Pullen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Zupka?
Yes.
Mrs. Sosnowski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Dents?
Yes.
Mr. Snipes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I did want to touch base real quickly. Thank you again. Thanks for your...
Okay, thank you, and thank you for giving the opportunity for us to come up here and let you know what we've been doing.
Sure, thank you.
I'd like to applaud you again, even if I'm the only one.
Mr. Gray, I know you had talked, I had a conversation with you about the drainage area in North Park. You said Mr. Arneo had that scheduled already to be cleaned. When was he going to do that?
Yes, I believe Mr. Arneo is going to do that project in early November.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Third item on our agenda is consider agreement with Beacon Employee Assistance Program Service. Mr. Gray?
Yes, Beacon annually provides quotes to the township for employee assistance services. This particular quote is for the year September 1st, 2010 through August 31st, 2011. The rate remains the same as the prior year, $2,050. Beacon has been providing the service for many years to the township. I've done some research, and they've been here since at least 1991, where we paid $1,900 for that particular year. At this time, the board is asked to consider approving a one-year agreement with Beacon in the amount of $2,050.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Comments or questions from board members? Mr. Zupka?
No, I'll make a motion to approve it, though.
Mrs. Kozlowski?
No, but I'll second the motion.
Mr. Snipes?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Dents?
No, no questions.
And I have none either. Comments or questions from the public? See no hands. All right, motion is made to approve the one-year contract with Beacon for employee assistance services in the amount of $2,050. Motion is made and seconded. Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Zupka?
Yes.
Mrs. Sosnowski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Dents?
Yes.
Mr. Snipes?
Yes.
Okay, public comment. Mr. Gray is going to get the list here. Thank you. Okay. All right, a couple names on the list. Mark Smith? I think he just stepped out. All right, we'll come back to Mr. Smith. Catherine Ross?
Good evening.
If you don't mind, I'm sorry, Ms. Ross, can you turn that microphone back toward yourself there? I think they kind of put it back. There you go. We want to make sure we get you audible. There you are. Thank you.
Now you can hear me. I'm Catherine Ross. I live in Penns Grant. I'm here tonight in follow-up because, as you may know, I also filed an appeal on the Viking Associates West Trenton Avenue property, and it's come to my awareness that because I've been asked to respond to a different approach to developing that parcel, that the board may soon also be asked to respond, probably in executive session, because technically it's litigation. I'm here tonight to let you know it's been a very short interval. Apparently, this has just arisen since last week, and so many of the neighbors have not had an opportunity to respond to the information. And my concern is that the board have enough time to amply and thoroughly consider all the options for this property. One of the questions that has come up that I have been unable to answer is, has the township considered the purchase of this property, or does it even qualify for purchase under the open space program? I'm aware that a private property owner has a right to develop a property. I'm also aware that we don't have very much open space left in our township. A couple of the residents in Penn's Place on Juliet, who back up on Rock Run Creek, are especially concerned because apparently their properties get more and more water every year, and Rock Run Creek doesn't stay in its banks, and they're very worried about the development of that property. So having said that, if you are asked to take action in the immediate future, I would ask that you not take forever, but take ample time to fully consider what information may be available to you. I do not know how our open space program works. There's not very much on the website. I know that Mr. Snipes is the Board of Supervisor representative on that, but beyond that, there's really no way to find out how that all works. I suspect this may be a pretty expensive purchase were the township to consider that and for it to even be a possibility. Having said that, I do want to report that I understand, without getting into the details, because I'm not sure, this is kind of an odd thing in that it is litigation for us, but it does affect my neighbors, and so I've attempted to inform them and get what information I can. Preliminarily, many of them are quite pleased that the height of the proposed resolution is much lower and much more it's better than the previous development, I'll put it that way. I have problems procedurally with how this comes about, and I guess it's not really procedurally, because procedurally this particular developer follows the rules. But the last time we had to respond, the effective notices were received right before the Thanksgiving holiday, and the decisions and the action had to be taken immediately after everyone returned from travel over Thanksgiving. This time it occurred in the middle of the highest summer vacation period, and here we are on the first meeting after Labor Day. Now, I don't know, again, when your schedule is, but I know when I was asked to respond, and my reaction was, holy cow, I can't even get to my neighbors. Most of them are still trying to figure out what they need to buy at the various local stores to get their kids back to school properly equipped. So that's what I'm here to ask, that you thoroughly look at this and perhaps help me to answer some of the questions for my neighbors. It's a shame we have to come this route in order to get those answers. I'm encouraged by the direction that I'm seeing. I'm still not convinced, and whatever happens, if we can't go open space with this, would obviously need the assistance of some technical people, because we haven't had a chance to, even as amateurs, dig into all of that under the time frames we have. One other thing that I would like to comment on is that it's really wonderful having the agendas, the change in the last several months in terms of having the agendas on the website, and also in terms of having the videos on. They're much more consumer friendly and easier to access. And I know agendas often don't come together till the last minute, but if you want to encourage and make it easier for busy residents to be here when it's timely and they want to be involved, if there's a way to post the agendas actually in advance so the public could look and see whether they would want to come. I know that we're supposed to all have various legal notifications if we're personally involved with certain land development things, but there are a number of issues that come up that I think residents would like to be able to go to the website, even on Monday morning, and say, hey, what is that? Is it at the beginning? Is it the end? Do I have to rush to get there right at the very beginning? And that would be a suggestion I would make. Thank you very much.
Don't worry about that timer, because I'll yield my 5 minutes to you. I was thinking about you today, and I actually, when I saw Mr. Gray's memo that project was on for future agenda items, I went and dug up the notes that were the result of your coming to that last meeting. You are a very effective spokesperson for your community, and I would like to help in any way that I can. If you'll recall, the developer is a personal friend of mine, and I'm sure he was heartbroken because I took a very strong stand after I heard what you had to say. I think it's totally inappropriate for your area. Have you done any kind of appraisal of how much it would be per acre and how many acres there are, or you haven't crossed that bridge yet?
You know, until one of my neighbors asked me the other day
about eminent domain,
about open space, I really didn't consider it, which is why I'm here tonight, because if I didn't really consider it, maybe the board didn't either, because I know you're busy and you often get information in the middle of a busy busy life as well. So I have no idea what the cost. I would suspect that's a pretty valuable piece of property in terms of the kind of income it can produce for a company that is not in the business of buying and selling land, but is in the business of building housing for our residents. And one of the considerations when we decide to go open space, if you were to do that, is the alternative, as I'm sitting here today thinking about it, is that could be a pretty substantial tax base also.
Well,
and there's some weighing of those considerations, and I realize that even though some of my neighbors had asked me to come today, because what neighbor doesn't want open space, quite honestly? You know, you're blessed when you can have any open space near where you live, but I realized that I wasn't actually here with a position, because I don't know in these tough times the possibility of having a good commercial property management company involved that's going to produce way more taxes off that piece of property than we currently have. Rang back when I first was talking with my neighbors, and one neighbor said, whatever they do so that somebody else pays more taxes so my taxes aren't increased, rang in my head. So I can't speak for every one of my neighbors, other than it needs to be really fully looked at to decide whether open space truly is even an option. If it's not an option, then we don't have to go there. I just don't know.
we have an interesting precedent here in Falls Township that comes to mind for me. We had 14 acres on the Williams tract, and that parcel, I still have not found all of the particulars yet, but for $375,000, and I'm not positive of the number, but I haven't let go of that yet. I still have my teeth clamped around it. And, you know, when you look at the amount of property and the fact that the charter school was built on the contaminated portion of that land, that's a very interesting thing to examine. So this might be the impetus I need to get this thing examined by someone about how that property got sold. And I can tell you that I spoke with 2 former supervisors who did not serve at the time I did back in the 70s. And they were talking about it too. This occurred in the 80s or 90s even. And I said, get me all of your files that you had while you were a supervisor, and let's take it to the authorities and have them look into it and find out if or not there was proper advertising and all of the things that we need to know. So you keep that in your hip pocket just in case God calls me home and I can't be here to fight that fight, okay?
Well, I'm hoping we can focus our resources on this in advance, so it doesn't
well, we're going to do that.
Something that we want to look back on and say, golly, if only we had done this, I didn't think it was possible, or, again, I don't know.
There are 2 ways to go. Eminent domain, in which case we'll have to pay a fair market value, in which case they'll do comparables. And we can have an out-and-out purchase from Mr. Healy if he was amenable to that. And he could have a reminder, and I'd be certainly glad to do that, that perhaps he might want to help make a contribution to this community. We've been good. Falls has been good to him, and he has been good to Falls. He helped find this building for us. So we have some poker chips to bargain with.
Well, and I think they listened to the board. That's clear to me with the beginning discussions about what they think could be great, that might be done with that property were they to move forward with development.
Mrs. Ross, I want to get to some of the questions you answered just specifically. In terms of open space, we do have an open space committee that was made up of representatives of some of our other boards that reviewed properties in Falls Township. We have somewhere in the area of 900 and Mr. Gray would know about $950,000 to $970,000 to spend county money through a bond that we can spend on open space. They have submitted a report, the Open Space Committee, on properties they deem as valuable in terms of priority. That report was submitted to the county and it was approved by them, and so we're actually we can basically free to spend that money now on pieces of property that we want to buy. In terms of this particular property, obviously because we're in litigation with I'm assuming I think they own that property, don't they? They're not in agreement to purchase it pending the approval of their plans, are they? I think it's their property, because I think they own the property next to it.
Viking Associates, I believe, Viking Associates own the property.
Okay, all right, so that makes it a little bit easier in terms of, negotiation. If they were in agreement to buy the property, if the plan went through, we couldn't sort of swoop in and offer to buy the property because we're in a lawsuit with them, and that would cause some legal problems. But certainly, it is an option. I was made aware last week of some desire by Viking to explore some different avenues, and we were going to actually discuss that during executive session tonight. So you're kind of at the right
That's
time.
why I'm here.
Yeah, so you're at a good time. But in terms of a clock that's running, Mr. Clark, is there any clock that's running?
There are no clocks that are running right now. The matter has been appealed, and it was appealed. Mr. Carr appealed on behalf of Ms. Ross, and the township appealed. After a land use appeal is filed in the Court of Common Pleas, the next trigger is the requesting of a Rule 27 conference. All of the parties have agreed not to have a Rule 27 conference right now until the developer figures out what he wants to do with the property. With Ms. Ross filing her appeal, with the township filing its appeal, the developer realized that it was going to be a tough road, so they've been developing an alternative plan over the last several months. So there's no deadlines, there's no time pressure, it's on appeal. Even if the developer were to say today, I want to have the appeal decided in Doylestown, we're probably 6 or 8 months away from that happening. But the developer has indicated a willingness to get rid of the 7-story age-qualified building and to go to somewhere in the range of 39 to 40 some odd townhomes, which wouldn't be more than about 35 feet. So it's a concept plan that they have that they will discuss in executive session briefly this evening. But there's nothing that the township has to agree to, and there's nothing that you have to agree to now. Because of the fact that it's on appeal, you'll have ample time to decide whether or not you want to agree to their alternative plan. There'll be nothing that will be rushed, and it's the same with the township. There'll be no need to make any quick decisions. There'll be ample time, and the plan that they showed last Tuesday is sort of a sketch plan with little outlines on it. They are months and months away from having a fully engineered plan that your attorney can look at and that the township can look at also.
It's only fair that, and I'm aware that all of their deadlines have been extended, which is customary when there is an appeal. It's just litigation is expensive for everyone, so there's no reason to push everyone forward in litigation if there's a time to talk, and it seems to me that right now might be that time, and I didn't want options to be ignored.
No.
That would then be forever precluded because of the way things go. Yeah. So that's good to hear. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to give you good news. So
one more thing that comes to mind out of the ancient things that have happened in this township. There was a GHS corporation that wanted to build on the Weiss-Gusakowski tract, and they presented apartment plans, garden apartments to be built right in the middle of where the new US 1 goes, the bypass. It's there now. We had to litigate that, and it was an interesting thing. I took copious notes, and I can tell you that the attorney who was representing the bad guys in that instance resigned in the middle of the trial in Doylestown. I had a conversation with him. He was very uncomfortable in what was happening, and I said, you've increased the price of the land because of those garden apartments when it was just two farms, the Weiss farm and the Gusakowski farm. And I can even tell you the parcel numbers I remember so well, 13-28-8-1 and 13-28-9. And that was the Weiss farm and the Gusakowski farm. And I can tell you the only thing about me that hasn't gotten old is my brain. I remember it all. So watch that we don't get any site plans in here for townhouses or something, because I would like to see open space there, and I think that's doable.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Mrs.
consideration.
Ross, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Ross.
Mr. Smith?
Anytime.
This is in regards to the road improvement project for 2010. Was able to meet with Mr. Sullivan today, and he was able to explain in detail exactly what's going to be going on in our street and what we can expect. He was able to help out myself and several other neighbors, so we were appreciative of that. As a result of that, I realized that I'm going to be out $2,200 for an apron and a sidewalk. There's just no way around it. I got to enjoy it for a whole year. Now it's going to get torn out at the end of the month. I'd just like to know what's going to be done going forward to notify residents in this situation so this can be avoided again.
Well, one of the things we've done, I thought I mentioned this before when you were here, I guess a month or so ago. Maybe I didn't. I apologize for that. But there is a listing on the table when you go to the permit desk in code enforcement. There's a pretty large list facing the people as there's coming up that has a listing of all the streets that remain to be done and the timetable for when they're going to be done. The rough timetable. It could change a little bit, but we're within a few years of finishing the program, so it isn't. No road should really be more than a few years away, and so that is something that is being done, and also it helps the employees so they remember, if someone's coming in and says, I want to put a new sidewalk on, Mark Drive, they could say, well, wait, let's check, your road's scheduled to be done, and they'll give them that date. Obviously, it would have been helpful in your case, of course, if that had been done before, and we apologize for that. But that is something that we have changed.
Right, just to help with those, going forward, just to help others in the future.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to approach it for now. It may not be the most efficient way to have just a letter on the counter. I mean, with today's technology, it might be nice. I don't know how you put these permit apps in or whatever. If there's you put it into a computer, maybe there'd be a flag on there. Okay, they got this project coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should be made aware of this or whatever.
Okay. I'm not sure. I know Mr. Markey's pretty good with computers. I'm not sure that's something that he has the ability to do. We can check.
The other thing is permit refunds were mentioned, and like my particular case, and I was just wondering, is this actually going to happen? Is there actually a plan?
Yeah, it's. I mean, okay. We approved at the last meeting. So if you want to submit your receipts, and we'll check our files, and the refund will be paid to you.
Okay. Yeah, as for the last meeting, I don't get the cable channel,
okay.
So I try to watch it on the computer when I can, but it seems like it's like a month behind or whatever. So
we've had some software issues.
Any way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
More timely manner for that. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, Dorothy Kozlowski.
I yielded my time.
Jen Morrell.
I might take it back.
Good evening, Jennifer Morrell from Falls Township. I'm here today to talk about our historic Fallsington Day, which will be taking place October the 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The reason that I'm here today to talk about it at this forum is because I would like to see, hopefully, a lot more of our community come out to our local Fallsington Day and support our local Fallsington Elementary School. Fallsington Elementary was offered to be one of our local Title I schools. So basically what that means is we have a lot of children within that school that are in need of a lot of different things, whether it be from free and reduced lunches to backpacks to all different kinds of things. Our Fallsington Day, our school in and itself will provide face painting, will provide different games and different activities to help raise money for the PTO, which again, all of that money kind of goes right into our local school. And in doing so, we are able to give families in need what they may need. And again, from free and reduced lunches to backpacks to whatever, we do try and give all that money right back into the school. Host different events such as movies for the kids and ice cream day for the kids and those kinds of things. There's all kinds of really great vendors that come to Fallsington Day. And I just wanted to mention in this particular forum that up close to the Fallsington Elementary School is where we hold our booths. So if you could come visit us on our booths, that would be just great, because again, all of the money that's obtained will go right back into our school. With that also being said, I am looking for volunteers to help run some of those booths. And I think, you know, while anybody could be a volunteer, our 9th grade to 12th grade students make the best volunteers because they earn community service for their, you know, college applications. I can certainly provide a letter, an official letter noting that they did provide volunteer services for our local Fallsington Day. It looks great if you're applying for National Honor Society, or again, if you're just applying to any local college. Participating in your Fallsington Day does count as community service, and we can provide letters, you know, to state so. So if any parent or, you know, teenager out there is interested in volunteering at Fallsington Day, I would greatly appreciate it. I did kind of steal off of our PTO president. She has these magnet business cards where if you're interested in volunteering, I will leave these here if that's okay. For, you know, you to be able to get a hold of them, or if you just want to call the Fallsington Elementary School if somebody's interested in volunteering. And since I'm running that particular day for our school, I'll be sure to get back to them, and I would, you know, greatly appreciate it. The only other thing that I would like to say is I would like to thank Bob Harvey for volunteering his services, or for being here on his birthday. So happy birthday, Bob, and thank you for being here on your birthday.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, Bob, how old are you?
Not as old as you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true.
Older than you? I'm older than you?
That's what I told him.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's all the names we have on our list. Mr. Dell, didn't think you'd be able to sit there quietly.
Happy birthday, Mr. Harvey. Good seeing you again.
Thank you.
Question for you guys. I was at the Three Arches the other day maintaining the property, and noticed a lot of things falling apart at that place. I don't know if you guys have been there in a while, but you had the brick paver job done in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. It's falling apart. I don't remember the contractor you guys hired to do that job. I don't know if they can come back and fix that job, but the shutters are falling off the building. They're rotting off and just dropping into the yard. The softening's falling apart. There's a giant hole where a squirrel gnawed his way through there, and there's still no gutters. I know we talked about 3 years ago about putting gutters. I don't know if they have to be made out of wood to be historically correct, or copper. I can't remember that conversation. And the front walkway, the flagstone walkway, has been falling apart for 6 years, and now is to a point where it's a dangerous front walkway. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, because we haven't really done much there since the floors and the brick paver patio in the back, which I think we paid 4 times as much as the going rate, and it's a horrible job. So if one of you guys want to stop out there, or even talk to Liz or Bill Reese, they can tell you the same thing. But maybe set aside some money for these guys to, I don't even think you could save the shutters that are there. I guess they're
Probably not. Yeah.
a couple hundred years old, and they're just beyond,
Right.
They're literally just dropping off the sides of the building. And I know they still have a huge squirrel problem there, and I saw one jump, I was chasing one around, it went in the basement, and I told Liz she has a buddy in the basement with her, so be careful when she goes downstairs. It actually went in the building. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we need some help out there.
Okay.
And,
All right.
It's falling apart.
Yeah, I know we've had some correspondence with Mrs. Reese, and I know we have a list of things that do need to be looked at. In terms of the project last year, the paver project, Mr. Sullivan, you aware of any? They're just probably still in the maintenance bond period, aren't they? Or are they finished with that project? Or
I believe they're still in the maintenance bond portion of the project.
Okay.
I'm not positive of that, but I think that's correct.
All right, but we can take a look at that. I think the shutters issue and the gutter issue became a historic one. It just was a matter of trying to find something that was going to match, or trying to figure out how to keep the historic nature while also fixing the problem.
Right. The historic nature of the building, it's not supposed to have gutters. They would have allowed cedar gutters, which turned out to be very expensive. but you're actually not supposed to have gutters on a building like that.
Okay. All right, but it is something we'll take a look at, and thank you for bringing it up,
Okay,
folks.
thank you very much.
All right. Any other public comment? See no hands? Okay. All right, next on the agenda are the minutes from August 17th, 2010. Comments or questions on the minutes as presented? Mr. Zupka?
No, none. I wasn't here for the whole time.
Mrs. Vislowski?
No questions. I'm voting no on them.
Mr. Snipes?
No, excellent minutes once again, Mrs. Pullen. Thank you.
Mr. Dents?
No, no questions or comments.
No, I have none either. Thank you, Mrs. Pullen, for the work you did. Okay, is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented August 17, 2010?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I
No.
abstain. I wasn't there for the entire meeting. I
Right.
forgot my nitroglycerin.
And
I had to
Mr. Zupka voted no? Or you're
I'll abstain. I wasn't
Okay,
here for
all right, just want to be clear. All right, thank you. All right, we're going to take a break for an executive session. It shouldn't be too long. Okay, let's call our meeting back to order at 9 p.m. Mr. Clark, can we have a summary of the executive session, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the board held an executive session to discuss a matter of litigation involving the Viking land use appeal, and the board also discussed a matter of real estate.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Gray, you're up. Manager comment.
Yes, just a few items tonight. My first item, I have a letter from Melissa Rigney dated September 1st representing Open Range Communications. She is requesting an extension of 60 days on this particular project. The board is asked to consider this 60-day extension for Open Range Communications.
Okay. All right. Assuming there's no public, no public comment, but also no board comment really. Is there a motion to approve the 6-day extension for Open Range?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Snipes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
My next item, in a letter from Carolyn Edwards dated August 6th, representing CVA, she is requesting an extension on this particular project until November 17th, 2010. The board is asked to consider this extension.
Okay. Letter of extension for CVA. Preliminary and final land development plans, extension to November 17, 2010. Is there a motion to grant the letter of extension?
Yes, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Next item, I have a letter from Richard Lamonowitz representing Liberty Towers at 9188 New Falls Road. That letter is dated September 7th. He is requesting an extension of time for this particular project for Liberty Towers until November 30th, 2010. The board is asked to consider this extension as well.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the letter of extension until November 30th for Liberty Towers?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Next item, I have a letter from Kurt Schaefer dated September 2nd representing the learning experience. They have a project going on at 8829 New Falls Road. He is requesting an extension on this particular project until December 30th, 2010. The board is asked to consider this extension as well.
Okay. We heard from Learning Experience last month that they're doing their, hopefully, their traffic study and getting some more information for us so we can consider their plan. Is there a motion to accept this letter of extension until December 30th, 2010?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
My next item, the township recently received a request from Herbert, Rowland, and Grubik, HRG, on behalf of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, or the DCNR. The DCNR is proposing a steel plate liner tunnel system through a Conrail Road embankment. In addition, HRG is requesting the township to waive the associated permit fees and the $2,000 escrow fee for this project. The board is asked to consider a waiver of the fees for this particular project.
Okay. All right. In terms of the fees we're looking at, Mr. Sullivan, are we looking at a lot of permit fees here, a lot of money that we're going to be losing for the township?
I think the permit fee is $50 and the escrow fee is $2,000.
Okay.
So those are the fees you'd be waiving.
All right, so we'll be waiving that money, and this is, again, this is for the state is doing some work to, very similar to what Gold was doing earlier, regarding the Delaware Canal pedestrian tunnel project. So is there, I don't know if any comments or questions from board members? If not, is there a motion to approve the waiver of fees?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
comment on it. I don't see any problem with, the permit fees, but the escrow, isn't that something that's held until, the job is finally done and we're sure it's done properly and there's no issues? If we waive the escrow, would we get stuck for any type of extra work or repairs that need to be done?
Mr. Sullivan?
The escrow fee in this case is for legal and engineering expenses. It's not for financial security for the project.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
It looks like this is to actually create a tunnel
Right.
to allow pedestrians and bicyclists using the canal to actually pass through this portion of the canal.
Yes.
It's not, I think, just a clean out, but it's
Right,
actually creating a space for them to pass through, which seems like a great project.
No, I agree.
I'd certainly be in favor of waiving the permits.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, as long as the escrow fee isn't that, we hold it to make sure that job is completed and done correctly, I have no problem with it then.
Okay. All right, then is there a motion to waive those fees for this project?
Yes, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Is the escrow fee in the motion or out of the
Yes,
motion?
both, the motion was to waive the permit fee of $50 and the
Escrow fee.
initial escrow fee of $2,000 for the DCNR project.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Zupka?
Yes.
Mrs. Wislowski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Dent?
Yes.
Mr. Snipes?
Yes.
My next item concerns the fall 2010 bare root tree offer from Tree Vitalize. Recently, the township was informed about the upcoming fall 2010 bare root tree offer that is available to municipalities. These bare root trees would be available in November for planting shortly thereafter. The township did a similar program this past spring, purchasing 50 trees. A total of 125 trees have been purchased through the Tree Vitalize program for Falls Township. The Shade Tree Committee is requesting 40 trees at a cost of $40 each for a total of $1,600. The deadline for this application is September 17th. At this time, the board is asked to consider the purchase of 40 trees as part of the Tree Vitalize program for $1,600.
Okay. Comments or questions from board members? Mr. Zupko?
Yes, and this $1,600 would be taken from the money that's been put aside from some of the developers in lieu of trees?
Yes, whatever money we have available for from developers, we would use for this.
So we should have, or we do have 16?
We should have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How much do we have? Can you put a report in our packet the next time we get a packet? And give us an itemization of what monies were spent out of that and who donated. Thank you.
Comments or questions? Mr. Snipes?
Yes, again, Mr. Chairman, a concern about the drought that we're in. And I've seen trees both in front of the newly developed Levittown Town Center along Route 13 that are clearly dead, and also a lot of trees in the some New Jersey Department of Transportation work along the Delaware over in Trenton. A lot of dead trees, and when they're planted and then not taken care of, obviously in this kind of climate we've had recently, they're going to die. So I wonder, Mr. Gray, if we can be sure that these 40 trees are actually going to be tended and cared for.
Yeah, we do have gator bags on those trees, and I believe they're attended to daily, if not weekly. But I'll make sure that they are attended to.
And I think it's a great idea and a great project. I'm just worried that if we don't keep up with the watering of them, we're going to spend this money and then lose it in the end.
Right.
Why can't we make the nursery from whom we purchased the trees for an additional fee to guarantee them?
We don't necessarily get them from a nursery. They come from a different organization, don't they?
Yeah, they come from the Tree Vitalize program through the DCNR. I don't believe there is any type of warranty on these trees.
Well, then we need to take great care that they're planted in the fall and not planted when we are having a heat wave, because everything is dying. Between my house and St. Mary's Hospital, I can't even tell you how many gorgeous trees are gone. I take roads through the country, And it's pathetic what's happened during this heat wave, so we need to take great care that we plant during the right time of year.
Well, these won't be planted until November.
Yeah, the trees, the information sheet we have available to us tells us the trees will be distributed on November 5th. So obviously, we're not going to be even planting them for another 2 months. We won't even have them for another 2 months. So, Mr. Dents, any comments or questions?
No.
Okay. Any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion to then, regarding the Tree Vitalize, $1,600 for the purchase of 40 trees?
Yes, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded?
Motion made and seconded. Mrs. Pullen?
Mr. Zupka?
Yes.
Mrs. Wislowski?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Dents?
Yes.
Mr. Snipes?
Yes.
I just have a few announcements from the Park and Rec Board for tonight's meeting. The annual Falls Township Family Festival event will be held this coming Saturday, September 11th at the Falls Township Community Park from 3 p.m. to approximately 9 p.m. There will be carnival rides, children's games, food and beverage, a puppet show, a magician, hypnotist, caricaturist. Hypnotist?
Oh, hypnotist.
Hypnotist. Excuse me.
Characterist?
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
Music will include Big Band from the Valley, the Denny O Polka Band, a DJ, Otto the Clown, demonstrations from Action Karate, Police Canine Dogs, and Colonial Cooking, plus face painting, cook-off contest, plus more. This event will conclude with a fireworks display, and this event is free except for the food and beverages. Also, you'll be able to register for the Falls Township Park and Rec Fall programs starting September 13th. Any additional questions or comments, please call the Falls Township Park and Rec Department at 215-949-9000, extension 220, 221, or 222. And finally, just want to announce that there are Mylars available for signing tonight from GTS Welco and U.S. Steel Galvanizing Gate. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Brings us to board comment. We'll begin, Mr. Snipes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was glad to see the work that we did tonight and to hear the reports both of Goal and of the township's continuing tree planting. And I want to also appreciate the people of the Shade Tree Commission. Do you have their names right in front of you again, Mr. Gray? Can you tell us?
Yes. Jenny Bicardo, Lois Glasscott, and Joanne Cosgrove.
Yes, I had the pleasure of meeting with them once. They're doing a great job. Obviously, they're not slowing down. I think they're speeding up. They're planting more and more trees, or encouraging us to do that, which is great work. Their recommendation and their work has been crucial for us. And then the work of Goal that we heard about tonight, which is not just cleaning out the various greenways in Levittown, but also planting native species, especially, which is crucial, and the trees, and taking care of them, which is great. It was disturbing to hear that people were vandalizing the trees, and there's no guarantee that won't happen. But I don't know of situations like that in the township, that when the town, in our tree planting program. So I was glad to hear of those things. And thank you for an excellent meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Wislowski?
I want to remind people to get registered to vote, because this November's election is going to be a critical one, and it will also determine if or not I participate next spring, because I am definitely going to do something about school taxes. And if the people do not get out and vote, and they have the poor showing that they did in the spring of 2009, then I will probably remain in Florida. So I am putting the voters of Falls Township on notice. If you want to see changes in those school taxes, get out and vote this November, and I will promise you that I will write a 52-page newsletter for the spring of 2011, and it will mostly address school issues, and some of them are doozies.
Mr. Dents?
Yes. The unofficial end of summer was this weekend, so you need to start watching out for the school buses and kids in the morning, in the afternoon, in the school zones. And it's starting to get dark earlier also, so we still have a lot of people that refuse to walk on sidewalks. I know that's a big issue for Phil too, Mr. Zupka. But every night, I almost got into an accident just the other day. I actually had people yelling at me because they were walking in the middle of the street and while I was driving. Also, something that we've talked about a few times, it's been brought to our attention by residents, is the front of the building out here. I was out there 2 weeks ago when it was pouring rain outside, and it was raining inside the atrium. I mean, there's leaks everywhere. I was in there a couple weeks before that, one of the days when it was 97 degrees outside. I was talking to someone for a few minutes in the hallway, and I think I actually felt relieved to go out into the 97-degree heat because it was so hot in there. There's cracked glass, there's grass growing in there. It's just really, really bad, and it's something that we should really start thinking about taking care of before there's an accident of some sort. It's something we should probably put on one of our near future agenda items, to have at least some sort of discussion about what we want to do. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zepka?
Thank you. Mr. Dents brought up one subject that I was going to bring up about the children back in school and people walking in the street. But something I've been noticing as I go through the township, our officers have stepped up. I'm going to say the enforcement of the traffic laws. I have witnessed. I haven't been stopped, but I've witnessed them pulling people over for exceeding the speed limit and turning at the wrong times and stopping in the middle of crosswalks. And so they are out there. They are enforcing the laws. They are doing some good that way. And just because you don't see it happening, it doesn't mean it can't. They can't or won't catch up with you someday. So just keep in mind of what our speed limits are, and especially now with children going back to school, don't stop in the crosswalks. And I believe I have my dates right, but. Tomorrow starts Rosh Hashanah, so I'd just like to wish for our Jewish, my Jewish friends and our neighbors. Somebody did give me I'm going to say a greeting for Rosh Hashanah, but I'm not sure it's proper, so I won't say it. I'm just going to say wish for our Jewish friends and neighbors a good, happy Rosh Hashanah. Thank you.
Bill, have you looked at the traffic arrests for the month of July? We have a detailed one by officer.
I have looked at it.
And I was amazed at how few arrests there are. I love our police department. It's not a criticism of them, but there are so many zeros.
I'm hoping to see the one that we get for
for September.
For August, and then in September.
Yes.
It shows more.
But I studied this today, and I just was amazed. Especially Harvey Taylor, because he's the Red Baron of Vascar. He was the best cop in my courtroom.
Okay, thank you. I want to echo Mr. Zupka's wishes, happy Rosh Hashanah, and also Yom Kippur. Our next meeting will be after Yom Kippur. The two holidays are connected in the Jewish faith, the beginning of the Jewish New Year, essentially. And so I want to wish our Jewish neighbors here in Falls Township and throughout Bucks County and everywhere else, happy holidays these next couple of weeks. Echoing Mr. Gray's point as well, the Family Festival, which is going to be this Saturday. There's always a great turnout. It's always a lot of fun. You get to come out. You get to see the police officers, the fire companies, ambulance squads, other businesses, churches, community groups that are out. It's really a great opportunity to come out. I think the weather is supposed to be pretty nice. I think it's going to cool off sort of like it was last weekend, which is good. It should be a great time. Fireworks at night, and so please come on out and let's celebrate the great community we live in. I also want to let board members know I'm going to be forwarding some information to them probably sometime later this week regarding a grant that is available through the federal government. It was obtained by Congressman Murphy that would allow for a deepening of the turning basin in the Delaware River, which is crucial to the functioning of the port here in Bucks County that's in Falls Township, that brings in a couple $2 billion a year of business. I know that there is some commitment already from private businesses in the area. They're going to be committing some funds to this, and I know as well that the county has promised to contribute funds to assist this project. The lion's share, about 75% of the funds, are coming from federal grant money, but you know, it might be at some point there may be some request for Falls Township to participate as well in this project to see if it gets done or make sure it gets done properly. It's obviously something that this township has lived off of the industry that has been down in that area of our township for, you know, 50 years, over 50 years. And so we obviously want to make sure it keeps going that way so we can make sure we have jobs in that area and jobs for people here in Falls Township. So I'll be forwarding some information regarding that matter. And with that, I'll take, I want to thank people for their birthday wishes, you know, for today. And I appreciate everyone's efforts here, making the meetings go as smoothly as they do, the professionals and the staff here in the township as well. So thank you very much. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.